our next guest, who also has got a seasonal background, I see. I haven't spoken to him before, but without any further ado, let me bring on Pat McGinnis, hopefully coming into the stream now. Yeah, here he is. Hello there, Pat.
Hello,
How
Pat.
are you?
Hello, David. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Yeah, all good. We're all good. I really like your Christmas tree as well. This is forever going to timestamp the time of this particular recording with all the trees. But listen, Pat, thanks so much for being with us. And obviously, you come at this, I know, from a particular angle, which again I support actually. But just again, for the benefit of viewers and whatnot, explain where you're coming from on this issue.
Yes, thanks for having me on, David. So my name's Pat McGinnis. I'm the press officer for National Housing Party, United Kingdom. And we tend to focus on what the real problem is. And
Yep.
The problem of this whole crisis is not the French fault. It's not Border Force fault. It's not the lawyers' fault. It's not the government's fault. It is one reason is we give out UK passports to refugees and give them citizenship. That is the root of the problem, and they get this passport via the 1951 United Nations Refugee Convention.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty clear on what we stand for. We want to completely end permanent settlement immigration and stop giving citizenship and housing to refugees.
Yeah.
We're full up. And we're a new party. There is some other parties out there, but unfortunately, Reform UK, Heritage, UKIP, but all, if you look through their manifestos, they all, ironically, they have actually put in their manifestos now they want to leave the United Nations Refugee Convention. But then if you read down, they say we will accept true refugees and give them citizenship and passport.
Yeah, you're no better off. No. So you would see that as the key, one of the key issue. We've got to get out of that 1951 agreement. Yes.
Not only that, but we need to make it clear to the world we are not going to give citizenship to refugees anymore. And as soon as the message gets out, they will stop coming. If we don't do that, we're going to be talking about this in 10 years' time. They'll only find another way to get in the country. It used to be through the back of the lorries, 2016. I've been campaigning to get out of the United Nations Refugee Convention since 2015. And I remember the first couple of small boats what came over in around 2016.
Yeah.
But also you need to have a long-term plan, and we have got a long-term plan. If you would allow me to just quickly say it.
Go ahead,
right.
Pat. Yep.
So basically, the first thing we've got to do is send a message out to the world. We're not going to be giving passports to refugees anymore, and we're going to leave the United Nations Refugee Convention. Once we've left that, then we can treat them as criminals turning up on the boats, on the beaches. And we need a deterrent. And just deportation alone, if you can deport them, because as we all know, they destroy their identities, we need a deterrent. And we're suggesting a 3-year prison sentence. So once we've left the convention, anyone found in this country illegally would get an automatic 3-year sentence, because there is an estimated 2 million illegal immigrants in the UK at the moment. So basically, we would set a date, just say we got into government, which is highly unlikely, but we're a pressure group and we want to put pressure on other parties to adopt our policies. So we would set a date for 1 year and we'd say, right, if you leave by the date in a year's time, and the conditions would be to give their DNA, fingerprints and photograph when they leave an airport or a seaport. If they haven't committed a serious crime, they'd be free to go and banned for life. And if they get caught again coming in, they're going to get a 3-year and they're going to have to do the 3 years. So most of the people would actually probably leave voluntarily once they understood that they will be going to prison if they get caught. But we need to build thousands of detention centres because there's 2 million of them. And after we've managed to get rid of all the illegal immigrants, we could then turn these detention centres into social housing for the estimated 1 million people on social housing waiting lists we have in this country already. So it's a long-term plan, and because just even if you could deport somebody, which sometimes they do get deported, like the Albanian murderer famously escaped from an Albanian jail and then got in illegally, got deported twice, came back twice. The that there was an Afghan who had been deported 3 times, and he was literally attacking women on Regent Street with a hammer, and he'd been deported twice already and got back in. So we need to get a deterrent, and the reason Boris Johnson is famous for saying it, he always said he wants to give amnesty for the 2 million estimated illegal immigrants. The reason they say that is because they're not prepared to put these people in prison until they agree to leave, and so they think, well, they're never going to leave. We can't get them to go because they're not scared of anything. They know that if they don't give their identity, they're just not going to be held in prisons here. So it's a long-term solution, what's needed. But like I said before, the root of the problem is that we give out UK passports to refugees, which never should have happened in the first place. I agree that they should be helped, but never to be given citizenship. It's too late to even help them now because we're trillions in debt, and we've helped enough of them already, which a lot of them should have gone back to their countries by now already anyway. So that's our long-term solution.
And Pat, in terms of the pressure on housing stock here in the UK, caused by all these gazillions of people being here, I mean, that must have a real impact on vulnerable Brits, people in crisis, Brits who should surely be the priority. But from what I can understand, they're not the priority at all. It's more likely that these illegals will be accommodated, if not in a 4- or 5-star hotel, in whatever accommodation they can be found.
Yeah, I mean, where I live, I have quite a lot of refugees as neighbours, and recently a friend of mine was living in I mean, he's half Italian, half Serbian, but he was born here, so he should have rights. He was born here, and he was 30 years old, and he lived in his mum's front room. It was a 1-bedroom flat, and he went down to the council. I said, I need a flat. We haven't got any flats. Can you put me on the list? No, we haven't. Yeah. You can't get on the list. So he was 30 years old, living in the front room of his mum's house. And there's refugees being housed all around us because they get extra points because they allegedly fled a war zone. You get extra points for that. It's all points based. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
This is the reason why we started the National Housing Party. Not kidding, because it is such a disgrace what has happened. And there's veterans sleeping on the streets. There's an estimated 300,000 people who are completely homeless. With that, there's another 700,000 waiting for housing. They can't get on the ladder. The mortgage rates are through the roof. And another one of our policies is to ban foreign ownership of property. Why do people have the right to own property in this country when they live in another country? I just don't understand it. And that is why the prices are so high as well, because of all these multi-billionaire investors. So if you look on our website, nationalhousingparty.uk, you'll see all our policies there, David.
Yeah, well, and actually, as you say, so if people are watching this and they want to find more information out about the organisation, Pat, then that's where they should go to. Yes,
and I would like to add, we are a staunch unionist party as well.
Glad to hear it. I mean, I think one of the key words that relates to this conversation we're having tonight is there's a lot of patriots out there, and we are ignored or demonized by the scum media, as I prefer to call them. And it's a disgrace, because the priority of any government, I think, Pat, should be to put the needs of the British people first. That can be, and obviously housing accommodation is about as basic as it comes. By the way, I like your Union flag cushion I can see in the background there. That's a very colourful touch. So
I've actually got family in Northern Ireland, David, in Ballymena.
All right. Yes, I know Ballymena very well. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, the thing is that this is all, we're all connected, and this issue is connected because, as we talked about to Stan and Dan, there's all these roots, and we're going to talk to actually in a minute or two. We're just about to come to Jolene here in Northern Ireland with me. To talk about that. But here we go, the National Housing Party UK. There you go, folks. If you want to go and check out stuff, get more information, understand all the stuff that Pat's been talking about. I've had a look at it. It all seems very, very sensible. It's the sort of stuff.
Shout out to Steve Laws. There's a lot of his articles on there, so he's helped us out a lot there. Thank you very much, Steve.
Yeah.
I said you can use it whenever you want, mate.
Oh no, thank you.
Yeah. So okay. So look, Pat, thank you very much for being on the stream.